Welcome to the deep dive, where we sift through sources to find those surprising nuggets of insight.
Glad to be diving in.
So today, you've brought us something really fascinating. It's a collection, right? 7 biblical verses.
That's right. Seemingly unconnected, maybe, at first glance, and they're from a specific translation.
Charles Thomson's 1808 Septuagint, which is, well, pretty rare. Why that one in particular?
Well, the Septuagint, being an early Greek version, sometimes gives you different nuances than, say, the Hebrew Masoretic text or later translations.
Okay.
Thompson's is just a unique window. It's good for this kind of deep dive.
And we're looking at these through a specific framework, Dr. J. Barton Payne.
Exactly. Payne's work on prophetic themes. It's not about, predicting the future date by date.
Right, more about patterns.
Precisely. Identifying these recurring thematic patterns, how ancient prophecies kind of echo through time.
Okay, and here's where it gets really interesting for me. We're connecting these verses, these patterns.
To a set of hypothetical news headlines. Just imagine headlines from July 11th, 2025.
Right, so the mission today is what? To see if there's a hidden narrative.
Yeah, to trace a story within these verses and see how these ancient texts might, maybe surprisingly, shed light on the kind of events reflected in those headlines, or maybe even the world you inhabit.
Okay, so let's unpack it. These 7 verses, not so random after all, you're suggesting.
Our sources hint at a narrative, like a 3-act structure.
A 3-act structure. Okay, Act 1.
Act 1 sort of sets the stage. God's covenant, and then the human response.
So we start with Deuteronomy 27.1, blessings being pronounced.
Right, establishing that divine standard, the potential for blessing.
Mm-hmm.
But then Daniel 9.11 comes in strong.
Confirming God's word is certain, blessing or judgment.
Exactly. It mentions the great evils brought on Jerusalem. It shows that God's declarations have real consequences. There's a certainty there.
Okay, so that's the foundation, certainty, consequences. Then humanity's response.
Well, yeah, often it's rejection, isn't it? Rejection of that divine authority.
Like Nabal in 1 Samuel 25.1.
Perfect example. Contemptuously asking, who is David?
He's dismissing God's anointed, basically.
He is. It's not just about David the man. And then you see a similar thing, though maybe more subtle, in Mark 6.
Jesus in Nazareth, his hometown.
Yeah. They're astonished, right? They hear his wisdom, see his work.
That they get offended. Where did this guy get all this?
Exactly. Both Nabal and the Nazarenes, they fail to recognize an authority that doesn't fit their worldly box.
Yeah.
Their expectations.
And you can almost map that pattern onto those hypothetical 2025 headlines, can't you?
It's striking. Look at the global stage in these imagined headlines.
U.S.-China tensions flaring up.
Mm-hmm.
Steep U.S. tariffs on Canada.
Right.
Strikes on Iranian nuclear sites. The Ukraine conflict dragging on.
It feels like nations sort of shouting at one another, doesn't it?
Yeah, instead of acknowledging something higher, like Nabal's pride, maybe.
Yeah.
Self-interest.
That's a compelling connection. Refusing external guidance, leading down predictable paths. Payne's framework would likely see this as part of the SARS of this age.
SARS of the age.
Yeah, these historical patterns repeating. Nations rejecting wisdom, facing the fallout. It really makes you think.
It does. Okay, so that's Act 1. Covenant, rejection, consequences playing out. What's Act 2? How does God respond?
Well, the response seems to be about offering an alternative, offering wisdom.
Ephesians 1.17, praying for a spirit of wisdom and revelation in the full knowledge of him.
Exactly. That's the antidote, isn't it, to that spiritual blindness, that rejection we saw in Act 1.
And then Romans 16.23 gives us a picture of what that looks like lived out.
Right. It paints this picture of an ideal community. You've got Gaius, the generous host.
Erastus, the chamberlain of the city, a high-ranking official.
Yeah, someone integrated into civic life, but righteous. And Quartus, the brother.
So diverse people, wealthy, official, ordinary guy, united.
A congregation, but one embedded in the world. That's the ideal presented.
Which raises the question, where do we see that ideal today, or the lack of it?
Well, look at the hypothetical domestic news from July 11, 2025.
Okay. Turmoil in the U.S. government calls for firings, layoffs, even corporate stuff, like the Funko CEO being ousted.
It contrasts pretty sharply with that archetype of Erastus, doesn't it? The stable, wise civic leader.
It really does. Seems like a struggle to achieve that ideal.
It reflects that ongoing tension, I think.
But okay, amidst all that struggle in the headlines, there's a local story from Everett, Washington.
Ah, yes, the rescue at Silver Lake.
13-year-old Gage Bryant saving an 11-year-old. That feels like a counterpoint.
It really does. It serves as a powerful type, you could say.
A type Meaning?
Like an illustration, a foreshadowing almost, of a deeper spiritual truth. Here, it's selfless action, wisdom in a crisis, a kind of salvation.
Wow. But then right alongside that heroism?
You have the fire, the behavioral health nonprofit in Linwood.
Which feels like the opposite. Decay, judgment almost.
A symbol of societal breakdown, perhaps? And then there's the city getting ready for Salty Sea Days.
Right, a festival, a celebration.
A worldly celebration, which is fine in itself, but juxtaposed like this.
It makes you think of the Nazarenes again, preoccupied with their own traditions, maybe.
Potentially missing the deeper spiritual dramas playing out. It's a complex picture, isn't it? Heroism, decay, and daily life all mixed together.
So bringing it all together, Act 1's judgment and rejection, Act 2's offer of wisdom and community, and then these glimpses in the 2025 headlines.
Yeah, this whole narrative arc, divine standards, human failings, the call to wisdom, the ideal community, the signs of both decay and heroism, it resonates surprisingly well with the kind of complex, messy reality reflected in those hypothetical July 11th events.
It suggests even scattered events looked at through this lens can show these deeper, timeless patterns.
I think so. It offers a unique way to maybe understand our world.
So what's the takeaway for you listening in?
Well, it's a reminder, isn't it? These ancient texts aren't just dusty history.
No, they offer a lens, a framework maybe, for making sense of everything from, well, global politics.
Right down to local news, heroism and tragedy side by side.
And it leaves us with a thought, I suppose, that Ephesians verse.
The prayer for a spirit of wisdom and revelation.
Yeah. What spirit of wisdom and revelation are you seeking, to make sense of the world you live in right now?